Dokkan needs to bring the hype for this Part 2 LR. How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We're back for another Dokkan battle video. In today's video, we are in the midst of the Perfect Cell April Fool's Cherry Blossom Dokkan campaign, and with it, of course, we are following the JP schedule now here on Global, meaning we will have a Part 2 LR for this campaign. So the big question on everybody's mind is, following the somewhat sour taste that Cell left for us, what could Dokkan possibly do for Part 2? And, of course, when will that be happening? So we're going to cover all of that in this video and throw out a little sneak prediction that I think might just be the thing to bring the hype for this celebration. So, first things first, let's take about when we should expect to see this. So we can see here on the campaign here that this is a month-long campaign, which pretty much tells us that there's likely going to be a part 2, right, running all the way to the 27th, which is when Golden Week starts. We can see that the Dokkan Fest banner leaves on the 16th of this month, and if we scroll on down here to the sales and to the Elder Kai summons, that all pretty much lines up. Remember, the sales and Elder Kais almost always correspond with the release of a new banner. So we have the Elder Kai banner leaving on the 14th at 6:59 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time, and the Stone Discount sales leaving on the 15th at 4:59 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time. So somewhere on the 14th to 15th, we should be seeing the new banner. Sometime between the removal of the sales and the removal of the Elder Kai banner. There's very rarely a time, like, we might have a day or two without new sales, but we almost never have an extended period of time without an Elder Kai banner. So there's a good chance that by the end of the day on the 15th, we should be seeing the new the new banner, whoever it's going to be, right? Especially with the stone sales ending this early in the morning, I would almost guarantee that by 7 p.m. the new banner will be up, which means that we should be seeing the details here in the next, I would say probably in the next 4 days. So it's currently Monday the 7th, so I'd say by Friday the 11th, if not by Sunday the 13th, we should be seeing the details for who we can anticipate to come for the part 2. So the question is, when that does come, who could it possibly be? Now, oftentimes, right, when we get a part 2 LR, it almost in some way corresponds to the theme and the leader skill of the new unit. You think last year to Topo, who one of his main leader skills, not his full 200%. Actually, we'll pull him up real quick. Not his full 200%, but one of his leader skills was special pose, and that would definitely seem to have been the theme for said celebration, special pose. And so the part 2 LR ended up being the LR Ginyu Force, who is on his team, which allowed him to activate his special pose condition. But they were not on the full 200% for that team. So that does open up a lot of possibilities. And this is also true for Kale and Super Buu the year before. So while a lot of people will anticipate that the next LR will be on the full 220, especially since we are moving into a 220% lead meta, we would like to have units that fit on the 220. It is not a guarantee. So let's just keep that out there while we think about who this could be. So I'm going to start with the unit I think is the most likely and work my way up to my prediction. So the unit I think is most likely to be the next unit is actually, it would actually be the best case scenario, and that is an MVP 17. I think there's a lot of evidence to suggest that he may be the likely candidate. simply due to the fact that, this is Cell. Cell would obviously benefit from having other androids around, and Android would be on his 220% lead. And of course, he would be on the main theme of the celebration, which is also his lead, which is tournament participants, right? So he would fall under tournament participants and androids, and would definitely help out definitely help out Cell, especially if he ends up being a support unit like some of the previous part 2s from the celebration have been. Really depends. I think there's a good chance, because he was he was omitted almost from the 10th anniversary, and I mean, and what I mean by that is, I kind of feel like he should have been on the Goku and Frieza card, right? Like, this should have been Goku, Frieza, and 17. To me, that would have made a little more sense for the Rivals theme of this card, but, I mean, nonetheless, it does kind of feel like weird getting another Goku Frieza for the Miracle of Universe 7 when we could have also tossed in 17, which would have made, the scene all that much better for their active skill. But nonetheless, him being omitted makes me think that there is a good chance that he could be the next Part 2 LR. And there's stuff in-game currently that sort of backs that up, right? We have tomorrow dropping Inevitable Showdown missions against the Goku and Frieza stage of the Universal Survival Saga Supreme Magnificent Battle, and the categories for this Inevitable Showdown are Worthy Rivals and Universal Survival Saga. Well, there's only pretty much two characters that fit that, and that is this guy right here, or of course a Blue Evolution Vegeta, which of course we're not going to get. So I mean that's pretty much MVP 17. So I really do think that he is the high likely answer, but you never know, right? It's not like, a Jiren would have been the perfect part, a new Jiren would have been the perfect part 2 for Topo, and then we ended up getting Ginyu, right? Or a new Kale or Kefla would have been perfect for, or a new Caulifla or Kefla or someone would have been perfect for AGL Kale, and then we ended up getting Super Boo. So while this is a very likely and best case scenario answer, Dokkan tends to not do that, right? So if we want to think outside the box, right, something that would work but not necessarily help, right? Speaking of Kefla also would also be on the 220% lead for tournament persistence and accelerated battle, right? Now she wouldn't fit the rivals category, but that's not necessarily a guarantee. It's just there tends to be some correlation to one or more of upcoming missions. So there is a chance that there could be a new Kefla, and it's worthy of note that we do have an unused asset for Kefla that kind of snuck its way into the data way back during the Goku Black celebration for the EZA banner for the Kefla, right? And you guys can see the GIF here that, right, there is a new, in the second one, like there's a new Kefla where the eyes are slightly different and there's a little more shading, and it's completely different than any than the STR one, which is the one we had on the on the banner, actually. So like if you look, right, like the one with the larger eyes and the less shading is the STR SSR, whereas this is slightly different. The shading is more to the left and the eyes are slightly smaller, which led people to believe that this was a new LR asset that they accidentally leaked. And you know what, I can definitely see it. So there is a small chance that there could be a Kefla, given that there is that unused asset somewhere that they are working on. No guarantees, but again, that would also be a pick that would help him out a lot. Well, maybe not. She wouldn't really have any good link partners at the moment, depending on how they set her up, right? If she starts as Super Saiyan 2, she could link with the STR one, but then that's still a bit of a risk, especially in this new meta, but it could work. With that though, right, another good option, well, okay, we're moving into less good options, because another option is a new hit. We're long overdue for a new hit, and it's possible we could get a part 2 hit. He would fit the category for both tournament participants and accelerated battle, and honestly, we don't have a new LR standalone hit, so they could definitely do this. Now, this would only fit that Universe Survival Saga condition, and not the Worthy Rivals mission, but it could definitely help with the Universal Survival Saga one if we did get it. And I think for this one, there's a little less evidence to suggest it, other than a possible upcoming Easy A, and that is the LR hit God Goku. They are one of the last Easy A's from the previous meta that have yet to get their Easy, or I shouldn't even say previous meta, from the 6-year meta that have yet to get their Easy A. So, you know, there's a possibility that these guys could Easy A in part 2 and give this guy a partner, but the reason I say that this is, hit is less likely, because not only would he not work on Cell's team due to the fact that he would have literally no partners unless these guys Easy A. If these guys don't Easy A, this guy is like dead without a partner. So that's why I think he's the less likely candidate. Which pretty much brings us to my secret pick. Now, this one is way out of left field. There's very little to suggest that this is possible, but it would fit more in line with a tournament participants / Android Cell Saga campaign. If we consider that, yes, this is a tournament participants celebration following Cell, that would be one thing, right? We'd just be like, oh, yeah, okay, the tournament participants, yeah, no, these all work. But we have to consider that the month actually ran as the Cell games with the theme through April Fools, with a Cell full takeover, a Cell games announcement in his intro. So I think there's a little more to it than that. I think that's not... I think it's not so cut and dry that it's perfectly tournament participants and that opens the door to Universal Survival Saga. It could, but I think there's another option we're not considering, and something that I would like to see, although I doubt it's ever going to happen, but what would be neat is if they they take this Worthy Rivals and they hit up a unit that we've already got a free-to-play unit for, right? Because Worthy Rivals contains a lot of characters, right? 17s, that's Universal. 17s, the Gammas, Piccolos, but most importantly, it contains Vegetas. Specifically, this Vegeta right here. Now, we have been getting free-to-play cards over the course of the last couple of years, sort of redone as summonable cards, which is great. And I think that this could be a great option, a summonable LR, Vegeta, and Trunks from the Android Cell Saga to mirror these guys right here. Now, this would only... The only problem with this is, like, this specific one is from the fight against second form Cell. So you might be asking, well, how would that work? They're not on tournament participants. Well, there is one possibility, and it's a long shot, but Dokkan has shown that they're not afraid to tap into what-ifs. In fact, this card right here very much is a what-if scenario, even if they aren't even if they wouldn't be on the full 220, they would be on tournament participants, which means they could make them a likely Easy A if Dokkan does the crazy thing and goes for this right here, right? One thing they could do is a what if Vegeta and Trunks versus Cell in the Cell games, right? For those of you guys who have played through Sparking Zero and unlocked the secret the alternate ending for the Cell Saga in the Vegeta story, right? You have Vegeta going Super Saiyan 2 against Cell, and Trunks joining in the fight to do the father-son final flash. I think that this would be a great Part 2 LR, and with Vegeta being Super Saiyan 2 here, if they decide to go this route, they could easily justify putting him on accelerated battle. Not guaranteed, but I would definitely see, like, I would see Vegeta fighting more on the accelerated battle level, akin to how Goku fought during his instant transmission fight with Vegeta as Super Saiyan 2, right? Gohan, only barely learning his power. I could see Vegeta, on the other hand, mastering that, so to speak, and justifying accelerated battle for the high-speed fight that did ensue in this. But I mean, it's hard to say. This is a left field pick. There's no guarantee. I'd like to see it, and even if they are only on the 170, they would still greatly benefit from being around Cell with his domain. So this would definitely be something cool. And given that, we haven't gotten a new unit, a new TUR yet, and who's to say that we won't get one soon, but with a new LR, right, I could see them tapping into the tag mechanic once more, like with Goku Frieza and the Year 10 Dokkan Fest exclusives. That could be really nice, right? Just like this, these guys right here, right? Redoing them, they were an exchange unit prior, redoing them as a tag unit with an active skill being the father-son final flash. That would be really neat, and it's something I would like to see. No guarantees, though. So, guys, that is it for the video. If you like the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let us know, who do you think the Part 2 LR could be? My guess is these guys right here. This is my top pick for who it could be, but I do think the likely answers are a Kefla or an MVP 17, trailed in by a hit. He's the least likely candidate, which honestly means Dokkan's probably going to pick that one, knowing how Dokkan works. But I would like to see something like this. I would like to see them think outside of the box, because you know what? I'm going to be honest. Cell's campaign, while fun, the idea behind it was fun. Cell himself, being sort of, a typical lackluster April Fool's unit, brought the hype down. They need something to bring the hype back, and I feel like this unit could do it much more than a new hit or Kefla could do, but maybe that's just me. Otherwise, guys, that's it for the video. If nothing else, thanks for watching, and aloha.